Hey everyone, before I dive into this story, please hit that subscribe button to join my channel and stay updated with more content like this. It was a serene Tuesday morning, the sort that typically buzzes with everyday routines. I was perched at my kitchen counter in Dallas, clutching a warm coffee mug, its steam swirling into the gentle sunlight filtering through the window. This was my cherished moment of calm before the day's chaos kicked in. A few quiet sips before emails, phone calls, and meetings took over. If someone had claimed a single text could unravel everything I believed about family, I'd have chuckled. But that's precisely what happened. I'm Andrea Quinn, 35 years old, and for as long as I can recall, I've been the one my family leans on to fix things. You likely know the type. The person everyone dials when bills pile up, relationships fray, or disorder needs taming. It wasn't just my role, it had defined me. I pieced things together, softened the rough edges, and convinced myself that love meant giving up parts of myself. That morning, my phone vibrated next to my coffee. I grinned, expecting a sweet text from my boyfriend, Caleb, or perhaps another work email. I wasn't prepared for the message that would crack something deep within me. It came from my brother, Justin, a brief, 10-word sentence that seemed innocent to others but stabbed at me. Don't come. The wedding's just for family. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I stared at the screen, wondering if his phone had glitched or if he'd sent it too soon. But rereading it, my chest tightened. He meant every word. Family had never felt so cutting. Justin Quinn, my brother, was tying the knot that weekend in a grand Dallas ballroom. The kind with chandeliers like sprawling branches and menus crafted like art. I'd funded most of it, $23,000 to be exact. I covered the venue deposit, catering, custom invites, every lavish detail he and his fiancée, Marissa Reed, had envisioned. Yet now I was uninvited. My hands shook as I dialed him. He answered after 2 rings, his voice curt, detached. Justin, what's this about not coming? I asked, somehow keeping my tone steady. He sighed, that impatient, belittling sound that shrinks you instantly. Andrea, we're keeping it small, intimate. You don't match the vibe we want. The vibe? I echoed, my voice cracking. Justin, I paid for the venue. He scoffed. Yeah, thanks for that, but Marissa's picky about the guest list. That was it, no remorse, no apology, just cold dismissal, like erasing me was as simple as scratching off an item on a list. I stared at my phone long after the call, my fingers numb. His text lingered like a scar. The wedding's just for family. Somehow I no longer counted. I typed a reply, my hands steady despite the storm in my chest. Got it. 2 words, calm and measured, but brimming with rage and disbelief. That $23,000 wasn't just money. It was years of covering Justin's debts, paying his bills, bailing him out when his reckless choices left him stuck. I'd even bought their groceries once when his cards were maxed. He always swore he'd pay me back. He never did. This was my reward, exclusion. I turned to my laptop, my throat tight. My inbox held receipts that told a story my family wanted buried. Countless small acts of fixing, each one a thread in the net that had ensnared me as their safety net. There it was, $23,000 for the ballroom, $4,000 for their investment leather sofa, $2,500 for Marissa's car repair last winter, $1,200 for their overdue utilities last summer. Each entry was evidence of my generosity, now twisted into a record of betrayal. Why do you keep doing this, Andrea? Caleb's voice broke my spiral. My boyfriend, calm and perceptive at 36, stood behind me eyeing the screen. You're not their bank, he said softly, his hand on my shoulder. When do you put yourself first? His tone wasn't harsh, but its gentle truth stung more. I scrolled through the charges, my chest heavy. They needed me, I murmured. Caleb exhaled, unconvinced. You chose to help, and that's okay, but they've built their lives expecting you to never stop. His words hung heavy, undeniable. I opened a file labeled Family Expenses, where I'd begun tracking every dollar I'd lent or given over the years. My fingers flew across the keyboard, the total soaring past $30,000. Each line told a tale, Justin's rent, mom's dental bills, dad's car insurance, small rescues that carve out pieces of me. The worst wasn't the money. It was the memories tied to each cost, the feeling of being needed mistaken for love. Hours passed, my coffee grew cold. Another email pinged, the ballroom manager confirming Justin and Marissa's wedding setup. Crystal chandeliers, gold-trimmed menus, champagne fountains. They even noted the $2,000 discount I'd secured. I'd saved the money and stress, yet I was the baggage they didn't want at their flawless event. Caleb sat beside me, scanning the email. "You deserve more, Andrea," he said, squeezing my hand. "So much more." I didn't respond, not yet. Beneath the pain, something colder was forming, not resentment but determination. I thought of my friend Angela, an event planner I'd collaborated with months ago. She'd once pitched helping her create a charity gala for a women's shelter downtown. Over coffee, we'd envisioned a night of purpose and elegance, a chance to help others instead of endlessly patching my family's cracks. I checked my phone, her message from that morning. "Still up for the gala idea? Now might be the time." Maybe it was. Maybe it was my turn to build something for me. The thought steadied me. I reopened my spreadsheet, adding columns for dates, amounts, and reasons for each payment: Justin's rent after he lost his job, their engagement shoot, Marissa's car tires. Beside each, I noted, "Promise to repay soon." The pattern hit like ice water. How often soon became never. This wasn't about vengeance. It was about accountability and liberation. That night, I drafted a message to Justin, my fingers steady. "Why am I not invited to your wedding?" I wrote, keeping it direct, emotionless. His reply came in 10 minutes. "We're keeping it intimate, Andrea. You don't fit the vibe. Too much baggage for our elegant aesthetic." Those words, elegant aesthetic, cut deeper than anything. My brother, who once begged me to cover his college tuition when he dropped out, now called me baggage. Another text arrived, this time from my dad. "Don't cause trouble," it read. "You know how important this wedding is. Keep the peace." That phrase, "keep the peace," was the anthem of my life, demanding I stay silent even when they broke me. I stared at Dad's message until my eyes blurred, then looked at Caleb, still sitting across from me. "I've kept the peace forever," I said softly. "Maybe it's time I keep something else." He nodded. "What's that?" I glanced at my spreadsheet. $30,000 and years of enabling staring back. A small, sharp smile formed. "Receipts," I said. "I'm keeping receipts." That was when everything shifted. I gripped my phone, Dad's words echoing every time I was told to step back. Give more. Stay quiet. He wasn't asking. He was ordering me to swallow Justin's insult. I didn't reply. The idea of keeping the peace felt like betraying myself, and I wasn't ready to yield. I called Angela, my voice trembling as I recounted Justin's text and Dad's message. She listened, her silence steady, not rushing to fix or advise. "That's tough," she said finally, her tone even, focused on her own day's chaos with a client's event. She didn't try to save me, which I didn't need. I just wanted to voice the betrayal aloud. Hanging up, the weight of my words sank in, the raw truth of being discarded by my brother. I opened my laptop, diving into the email thread with the ballroom's manager. The subject, final payment details. I skimmed the terms, $10, 000, due tomorrow to lock in the venue. My cursor lingered over the reply button. Canceling that payment could halt their wedding. The thought sent a spark through me, not revenge, but reclamation. I reread the contract, noting the refund policy, calculating the fallout. Could I do this? It wasn't just money. It was respect, something Justin and Dad clearly lacked for me. Caleb walked in, sensing my tension. "You don't owe them anything," he said, sitting opposite me. His voice was firm, not forceful, reminding me of the spreadsheet exposing years of their demands. "You've given enough, Andrea. Protect yourself." At 36, Caleb had a knack for cutting through my doubts with quiet truths. His words shielded my resolve. I didn't need to be the family fixer anymore. I closed the laptop, my decision clearer, though not final. This was about my worth, not proving a point. The next morning, I logged into the venue's payment portal. My cursor hovered over the cancel button for the $10,000 final deposit for Justin's wedding. I'd already paid $23,000. This was my line in the sand. I clicked, canceling with a cold clarity. An automated email confirmed the transaction was voided. My heart raced, not with guilt, but with a strange freedom. I wasn't just stopping a payment. I was reclaiming my dignity after years as their wallet. The decision felt like closing a long overdue chapter. Hours later, my phone buzzed with a forwarded email from the venue manager to Justin. Due to non-payment of the final deposit, your event is canceled. The ballroom, Marissa's dream stage, was gone. I pictured Justin's smug confidence crumbling. He'd called me baggage, but now his perfect wedding was unraveling. The email was formal, stating they'd begun rebooking the slot. I felt no triumph, just a quiet certainty I'd done right by me. My phone rang. Mom, Patricia. Andrea, how could you? She snapped, her voice thick with blame. You're ruining Justin's happiness over a petty grudge. Her words painted me as the villain, defending Justin's entitlement without asking why I'd canceled or acknowledging the $23,000 I'd spent. I stayed calm. Mom, I'm done funding their lives. She huffed, demanding I fix it for the family's sake. I hung up, my hand shaking but my mind steady. The family group chat erupted. Aunts and cousins flooded it, some blasting me for sabotaging Justin, others silent. Then private messages came. Cousin Lisa wrote, you did what was right. They've used you forever. Uncle Mark agreed, noting Justin's pattern. Their support, though small, was a lifeline, proof I wasn't the monster Mom claimed. The chat's chaos showed the family split, but I didn't engage. I'd made my choice. I emailed Justin, attaching the cancellation notice. You owe me $23,000 for what I've paid, I wrote, sharp and professional. This ends now. Sending it felt like shedding a heavy burden. Justin didn't reply, but I knew he'd seen it. Marissa's frantic texts to mutual friends were already spreading. I didn't care about their panic. They'd built their dream on my sacrifices, and I was done carrying it. Caleb sat with me, reviewing the venue's contract. Let's ensure this is airtight, he said, checking the cancellation clause for non-payment, confirming my move was legal. His calm focus grounded me, a reminder I wasn't alone. We verified every detail, dates, amounts, terms, ensuring Justin couldn't twist this. Caleb's support was quiet but solid, a wall I could lean on. I closed the laptop, knowing I'd protected myself. This wasn't about hurting anyone. It was about reclaiming what was mine. 2 days later, my phone lit up with notifications. On Instagram, Justin posted a glossy engagement photo with Marissa, captioned, "Some people are too selfish to celebrate love. My sister chose to sabotage our wedding." The word selfish burned, his public smear twisting the knife after I'd canceled the $10,000 deposit. He omitted the $23,000 I'd paid, or the years I'd propped them up. His friends and strangers piled on, calling me heartless. My pulse quickened not from shame, but from his audacity. Justin, the master of appearances, had turned our family drama into a spectacle. That afternoon, Marissa appeared at my door, designer bag in hand. "You need to pay the venue, Andrea," she demanded, eyes narrowed. "You're ruining our day." She spoke as if my $23,000 wasn't enough. I opened my spreadsheet, showing her the $30,000 plus I'd covered utilities, her car repair, their sofa. "I've paid enough," I said. "Find another way." Her face flushed, but she didn't argue, storming off, muttering about my betrayal. I stood firm, my resolve unshaken, done being their bank. Caleb watched from the kitchen. "Justin needs to own this," he said, his tone steady but fierce. "You've carried them too long." His quiet strength erased my lingering guilt, reminding me Justin's choices caused this. He suggested checking the venue's email for updates, but I wasn't ready to dive back into their mess. Their problems weren't mine anymore. I opened Twitter, fingers hovering. I wouldn't let Justin's post define me. I tweeted, "Paid $23,000 for my brother's wedding, only to be uninvited. Done being used." Short, factual, no drama. Retweets and replies poured in, people shocked, sharing their own family betrayals. My tweet wasn't about revenge, it was about truth. Notifications kept coming, strangers validating what I'd long felt but never said. I deserved better. Angela texted that evening. Justin's post is tanking. His followers are calling him out for lying. She didn't offer sympathy, just the update, her focus on her event planning hustle. I checked Instagram. Justin's comment section had turned. Friends who'd backed him went quiet. Others questioned his story. "Where's the $23,000 she paid?" one wrote. Another called him ungrateful. The backlash wasn't my aim, but it felt like justice, his curated image unraveling. I didn't reply to Angela, letting the truth work. I leaned back, watching my tweet gain traction. The numbers didn't matter as much as the clarity. Justin and Marissa had built their lives on my sacrifices, then villainized me when I stopped. Caleb sat beside me, nodding at the replies, signaling his support. I wasn't fighting for their approval anymore. This was about my story, not theirs. By Sunday, my bank pinged with 3 deposits. $10,000, $8,000, $5,000, totaling the $23,000 Justin owed for the canceled wedding. No message, no apology, just cold transfers, likely spurred by the social media storm after my tweet. His Instagram smear had backfired, with followers calling out his ingratitude. I stared at the numbers, relief and exhaustion mixing. This wasn't a win, it was a reckoning. Justin had paid, but his betrayal's wound lingered, unhealed by money. Angela met me for coffee that afternoon, her usual planner's chaos replaced by calm. "You drew a line, Andrea," she said, stirring her latte. "That's power." Her words landed deep. The first time she'd offered more than a nod in this mess. "You're not just their bank, you're you. Don't let them take that." For once, Angela was fully present, helping me see my strength. I sipped my coffee, her support sinking in, affirming I'd done right by myself. Mom texted, "Andrea, forgive Justin. We need to heal as a family." Her tone was softer, but still heavy with expectation, ignoring my pain and the years I'd funded Justin. I typed back, "Mom, I'm done fixing things for him." My reply was final, unyielding. I wasn't cutting her off, but I wouldn't carry her demands anymore. Relatives' messages poured in: Lisa, Uncle Mark, Aunt Claire. "You stood up for yourself," Lisa wrote. "That took guts," Mark added. "We're proud, Andrea." Their words soothed, countering Mom's guilt tripping, proving I wasn't the villain. I scrolled through their texts, each reinforcing my choice to stop enabling Justin. Their support was quiet but real, drowning out Mom's accusations. I opened the family group chat, hovering over Justin's name. His silence since the deposit spoke volumes. He'd paid but hadn't faced me. I removed him, the weight lifting like a chain cut loose. Marissa wasn't in the chat, but removing Justin closed the door on both. I didn't need their drama or approval. For the first time, I felt free, untethered from being the family fixer. Caleb suggested a picnic the next weekend. Hiking, fresh air, just us. The idea sparked lightness, a chance to focus on my life. We planned trails and snacks, his steady presence reminding me I wasn't alone. I wasn't rebuilding a broken family. I was building something new for myself. On Tuesday, Caleb and I drove to a lakeside, the water glimmering under the morning sun. We spread a blanket, unpacking sandwiches and tea. The crisp air felt free of the chaos that had consumed me. We talked about simple things: work, hikes, a new restaurant. The peace wasn't just the scenery, it was knowing I'd set boundaries and held them. I leaned against Caleb, his arm around me, feeling lighter than I had in years. A mutual friend texted about Justin's Instagram post costing him a major marketing contract with a Dallas boutique. Clients didn't want ties to someone who'd trashed his sister after she funded his wedding. The backlash had grown, with industry contacts pulling away. I didn't smile. It wasn't about revenge. Justin's choices built this, and I wasn't responsible for catching him anymore. Another message linked to an online listing. Marissa was selling her designer jewelry, diamond necklace, gold earrings, even her engagement shoot bracelet for urgent wedding expenses. Their scramble after the ballroom cancellation was clear. I recognized pieces I'd once admired, but her desperation sparked no pity, just acknowledgement of their reality. They'd leaned on me too long and were now learning to stand alone. Cousin Lisa texted about family ripples. Mom and Dad were losing favor. Aunt Claire and Uncle Mark skipped Mom's brunch, tired of her defending Justin while ignoring me. Other cousins pulled back, whispering about Mom and Dad's bias. I felt no glee, just calm. Their isolation was their doing, the cost of favoring Justin over my truth. Angela sent photos from a charity gala she'd organized for a local shelter. Elegant tables, soft lighting, smiling guests. You'd love this, Andrea, she texted. Join the next one. Her invite was genuine, not pitying, a call to join her world. I smiled, imagining myself there, not fixing, but enjoying something I'd helped inspire, a reminder of what I could build when I stopped carrying others. Aunt Claire's email arrived. You did right, Andrea. Setting boundaries took courage, and we're behind you. Uncle Mark and Lisa echoed her, praising my strength. Their words shielded me, countering Mom's guilt. I wasn't alone. My family wasn't just Justin and my parents, but these voices cheering my stand. I closed my laptop, knowing I'd chosen myself. A week later, I deleted Justin's contact. After $23,000 for his wedding and countless other expenses, I was done. Marissa's name stayed, a formality. I hadn't heard from her since her guilt trip. Erasing Justin wasn't anger, it was clarity. I'd been tethered to his demands too long, and cutting him out reclaimed my space. Mom sent a letter, her neat handwriting apologizing for misunderstandings and urging us to move forward. Her words avoided my pain, the years I'd been used, the uninvitation. I folded it, my silence a choice, not a snub. Replying would drag me back into her cycle of excuses for Justin, and I was done. Dad called that evening, his voice heavy with frustration. Andrea, we need to talk. He pushed for reconciliation, echoing Mom, but didn't ask about me. Dad, I'm protecting myself, I said, ending the call. I'd blocked his number, my fingers steady. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Their refusal to see my side left no choice but to draw the line. Relatives gossiped about Mom and Dad's favoritism. Lisa said Aunt Claire stopped returning Mom's calls, fed up with her defending Justin. Uncle Mark noted a family dinner where Mom and Dad sat quietly, their influence fading as cousins questioned their fairness. Their isolation wasn't my doing. It was the consequence of choosing Justin's comfort over my truth. At my desk, I reflected on this journey. Setting boundaries wasn't about punishing Justin, Mom, or Dad. It was about guarding my worth. I'd been their safety net, covering Justin's bills, absorbing their expectations, only to be cast aside when I said no. Saying no wasn't revenge, it was self-respect. I'd lost a brother and strained ties with my parents, but gained clarity I'd never known. I was enough, and I didn't need their approval to prove it. That truth made me stronger than their guilt ever could. Thank you for following my story. Justin's betrayal, the wedding fallout, my fight to stand tall. I know some of you have faced similar battles. If you've set boundaries with family, drop a comment below. Share how you held your ground, what it cost, and what you gained. Your stories matter, and I'd love to hear them.